Welcome everyone to 3 Count Commentaries. I am your host, MagMongoSlade. Today, Monday Night Raw from July the 8th, 2024. The return of Rhea Ripley, and she catches Domink Mysterio in the middle of some funny business. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the rest of the show, which unfortunately was kind of bland. And we're back to form. And when it comes to nothing happens on these shows. Nothing happens. But let's go through the card real quick so I can get to everything else a little bit later. Jey Uso defeats Chad Gable singles match. He wins by spear because the Wyatts distracted Gable. And that's because they kept turning the lights down. They distracted Gable. Then when the lights went out, Jey Uso ran, which is a very cowardly thing to do. And it doesn't make Jay look cool, actually. It makes him look scared. Why you want to make the guy look scared? In any event, Chad Gable, once again haunted by the Wyatts. They once again gave a tape to Pat McAfee. Chad Gable demanded some explanations about what's going on here. Why doesn't Adam Pearce do something? Adam Pearce says, hey, I'm investigating. There was a hole in your head like 3 weeks ago. We're still investigating it, But you're getting kind of paranoid. So after the tape plays, the tape is once again Bo Dallas and Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy the third tape. And they're discussing that Bo Dallas saved all of these people, the people that no one wanted, and that these people now have no masters. It's time to start setting them free. And then he was in Adam Pearce's office after the tape played. And that was interesting. Maybe we're actually going to see something more from these Wyatts. My problem with this story is that it's moving at a glacial pace. It's moving at a glacial pace. Chad Gable has caught on that they're after him. He's also talking to the Creed brothers. Again, this whole thing is moving dreadfully slow. Just super duper slow. I want it to move quicker than this. It needs to speed up. You can't drag everything out forever. Sheamus, celebrating 15 years in the WWE, says it took him that long to figure out the business. He got cut off by Bronson Reed, who called Sheamus to pass. Said Bronson Reed is the future. They wanted to fight. But Bronson Reed had a match with Pete Dunne, who is now a singles act, apparently. Bronson Reed won the match. This match took forever to end. It just seems to go on and on and on. Why did it take Bronson Reed, 12 minutes to beat Smallfoot European guy? He's supposed to be a monster. Do you not know how to book a monster? Maybe you don't think Bronson Reed is a monster. You look at him, he's like a bowling ball with arms and legs. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe his watermelon-shaped body is a problem. But he's supposed to be a monster. Big Bronson Reed, Godzilla, all this kind of stuff. And it takes him like 12, 15 minutes to beat a guy who never wins singles matches. And matter of fact, this might be the first singles match we've seen him in forever. It took him forever to beat this guy. In any event, Bronson Reed wins. He's going to splash Pete Dunne again, and then Sheamus came out. Together, Dunne and Sheamus fought Bronson Reed off because we really needed to do that to keep Bronson Reed strong. Oh my God. Afterwards, Sheamus looked like he wanted to shake hands or be friends with Pete Dunne, only for Pete Dunne to shun him and leave the ring. Michael Cole reminded us that they were a part of the Brawling Brutes, and that Sheamus broke up the group when he left. And Pete Dunne, well, he's got feelings about that. Real bad feelings about that whole thing there. That's very unfortunate. Okay, whatever. Carlito, JD McDonough, and Finn Balor defeat The Miz, R-Truth, and Braun Strowman. This match took me out. I can't believe these people are still feuding. There has been no progress on this story in ages. When a story is going on too long, when you forget why it's even happening, I don't know why this is occurring. It just is. It needs to stop. It needs to stop immediately. Ilya Dragunov and Bron Breakker fight to a disqualification after Bron Breakker absolutely decked Ilya Dragunov with a chair. Earlier in the night, Sami Zayn cut a promo saying that he's no longer the underdog. That was Bron Breakker's mistake, thinking that he was the underdog. He is a champion now. And so Bron came out there, just kind of stared a hole in him, said that Sami Zayn is the only man on this roster that can say that they beat him. So he does not ask him for a rematch. And then he speared him. Then he pummeled him, which was funny. Adam Pearce and a bunch of officials like Petey Williams came out there, tried to stop it. Of course, he tricked everybody. He speared Sami Zayn again. Sami Zayn goes to the trainer's room. Dragunov was pretty upset. Dragunov was upset earlier, too. He demanded a match with Bron Breakker. They had the match. It chewed up some time. I like Dragunov. I like Bron Breakker. I think you're blowing this out of proportion. We could be trying to save this for being a higher level feud. But I get it. They're trying to build Bron Breakker and Ilya Dragunov at the same time. I don't think it works that way because somebody's got to lose. And the more people lose, the less you see them as being important on your roster. After Bron Breakker decked Ilya Dragunov with his chair and then proceeded to start kicking his ass, Sami Zayn came out there and he bumped Bron Breakker off a couple of times before he got slammed into the ring apron or something like that. And so Bron Breakker and Sami Zayn are still going. They have not improved. They just had Bron Breakker start all over again. He was a badass who speared people and beat them up. Oh, well, he's just going to do the same thing to Sami Zayn. He's already done this. He did this for 2 weeks. And now he's lost to Sami Zayn. He doesn't up the violence. He just continues doing the same thing he was already doing. Great job, Trips. No, if you're a big-nosed brown-noser, I need you to find the nearest rusty nail and headbutt it. Kairi Sane, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai defeat Lyra Valkyria, Kaden Carter, and Katana Chance. Oh my god, this match seemed to go on forever. Oof. Before the match, Damage Control had proclaimed themselves out of control and that there was something that needed to change and that they were pushing back. Then they got their shit kicked in by Zoe Stark, Sonya Deville, and Shayna Baszler, the League of Extraordinary Lesbians. They had finally fully formed and decided they were going to take out Damage Control first because Zoe Stark is upset with Io for costing her the money in the bank by using a Michinoku driver off the top of the ladder, which means Zoe Stark shouldn't be there. She should be in the hospital. But ladder matches, nothing. It's nothing. Everybody's made of iron these days. You know how it goes. In any event, afterwards, after the beatdown, it seemed like they were trying to write off Io Sky for her big match in Japan, but it didn't look that bad. It seemed like Zoe Stark is going to be the leader of this group because after the beatdown, they played her theme song, Wretched, because now they're going to decide, hey, putting her being by herself didn't work. Her being in a tag team didn't work. Her being Trish Stratus's protege didn't work. So now she's going to be the leader of a faction. Bro, if you don't get the out of here, just get on the out of here. All right? Fully out of here. In any event, Jesus H. Christ. Sonya Deville should be the boss of this group. She's the only one with any personality and a voice. They explained themselves, saying that they now run this division. Shayna wanted Zoe and, Sonya wanted Shayna and Zoe to be the killers that they always meant to be. And now they will be. They were then confronted by Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, who you forgot were the tag team champions. Scratch that. You probably remembered. I forgot that they were the tag team champions. So, and they claim that they run the division. They don't do anything. They're barely on the TV show. Who cares? The main event of the evening, Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio defeat Zelina Vega and Rey Mysterio. They've been continuing the flirtation between Liv and Dominic. Even have this match was Liv's idea. Dominic didn't want to do it. Then Liv put some pressure on him, and she stretched his groin. And this was funny, actually, when she was stretching his groin, and Judgment Day walked in. That was funny. You know, them looking at him while he's got his leg on her shoulder is hilarious. Damian Priest then told Dominic he had to end this and it shouldn't be that hard, to which Carlito says it looks hard to him. And that was actually funny too. All right, so they got a good humor out of this whole thing. In the match, Dominic's head ends up falling between Liv's legs. That was also funny. When they won because Liv Morgan tripped Rey Mysterio on the top rope. Dominic hits the frog splash, finally pins Rey. Afterwards, Liv Morgan jumped into Dominic's arms, wrapped her legs around him, and they both fell to the floor. And that's when Rhea Ripley's theme song played. Liv Morgan giggled and took off. And Dominic stood there and got chastised like a puppy who pissed on the carpet. It's awful. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating. But at least this thing is finally starting to move. This thing has been constipated for a long, long time. This thing's finally starting to move, for God's sake. Jeez Louise, this show is boring. Whew. All right, so CM Punk opens the show. And he, of course, threatens Drew McIntyre, says that he's the consequences for Drew McIntyre's behaviors. He wants Drew unsuspended so he can fight him. Instead, what he gets is Seth Rollins, who says that CM Punk wants to be the center of attention. The two of them get in the ring, and they proceed to have promo time against each other. Seth Rollins wants to know why CM Punk never has any consequences for his actions. Why did he get in Seth Rollins' business? Punk says, well, I wasn't in your business. I was handling my own business. Then he says that he's personal between him and Drew McIntyre, that, you know, the bracelet might be 15 cents, but it means something to him. It got his wife's name on it, got his dog's name on it. He's walking around, this Drew McIntyre, with his wife and his dog on his arm. This is personal. It's a problem. He's a dog dad. You should know, Seth Rollins. You have an actual human child that you're watching to raise. He doesn't. Philip. Anyway, he apologized, said he's been snowblind with rage. He didn't mean to screw over Seth Rollins. But said since it's Seth, though, he doesn't feel too bad. Seth Rollins says that CM Punk is crafty. He's a king of propaganda. But the world doesn't revolve around him. And he was willing to let CM Punk's selfishness slide until it cost him that Money in the Bank. So he says, now, the moment you are 100%, I'm going to break your arm again and put you back on the shelf. I was like, okay, we wasted the Money in the Bank for this. Afterwards, Seth Rollins went to the back, met up with Damian Priest, said that Damian Priest was both lucky and good at the pay-per-view. And since Damian Priest kept his word and Judgment Day was not there, he's going to keep his word and not challenge for the world title. Damian Priest appreciated that, but then said, hey, you know that thing we were fighting over? Forget about it. I'll give you a title shot right after I beat Gunther. And then they actually shook on it. And I just looked at that and said, what the fuck? What was the point in making that part of the deal if you're just going to be able to hand wave it 2 days later? What was the point? And they tried to wave away the referee by saying the mistake happened. The referee made a mistake. And, okay, I guess that's the simplest explanation for it. Damian Priest didn't kick out, so you just say, oh, the ref made a mistake. He should have counted 3, but he didn't. And Seth is taking that very casually. He should be screaming at that ref. He should have been screaming at Adam Pearce about that ref. But instead, he just kind of like, ref, he makes mistakes. It's okay. I mean, not really. It shouldn't be, though. You know, you got punched in the head, brother. Seth Rollins and CM Punk, they're back on this. Look, it was fine. Punk took a small dig. It's a teeniest dig at AEW by saying he'll fight Drew McIntyre anywhere. He'll even fight him. He'll even fight him on that side of the camera where there are people now. And the AEW fans and a bunch of other people just started quaking, just started losing their minds. It was dumb. It was quite dumb. Punk needs to get over it and stop talking about these guys. It's just please let it go. Time to stop. So Adam Pearce, he wants to try to get this match made between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. But in order to do that, Punk's got to stay home because Punk's got to go home 2 times a month now. So Punk's got to go home and rest up and come back 100%. And he's going to talk, he being Adam Pearce is going to talk to Drew McIntyre to try to get this match made. It's like, why would Drew have any problems with getting the match made? You could just send him a text, like, Drew, do you want to fight Punk? Yes. Why do we have to have a segment for this? Punk talked about both of them being fine, which I thought was interesting. So that was good. I mean, the Punk promo was fine. You know, it was fine. The Seth Rollins confrontation was okay. Punk's still not medically cleared, so they can't have any contact. So they're making a lot of vague threats and trying to find reasons why Drew's not in the building, and then trying to find reasons why Punk wouldn't be in the same building with Drew. Just, I don't know, man. They dragging the hell out of this thing. This thing is like, you know, when Boss Man was dragging Big Show Daddy's corpse. You know, that's basically what we got going here. And this another 6 weeks of this goddamn thing. You know? This thing's been going on for a long time. You still got 6 more weeks before these guys can even officially have a match yet. But what does Seth Rollins do for SummerSlam? Does anybody care, really? No, not really. You would think people would care considering he's a top guy, but no, not really. Sheamus and Pete Dunne having a thing. Oh, okay. It makes sense in terms of storyline, but where's the other small-foot European guy? You know, Bait. Where did he go? I don't know. Dragunov is just floating in between the Braun Breaker feud. And it seems like when Triple H has run out of ideas, he just throws somebody else into the feud. Like, I don't know what happened to Ludwig Kaiser, who was feuding with Sheamus. But now they've thrown Pete Dunne in it. And they've thrown Bronson Reed in it. And it's like, okay, you're trying to extend that feud by just tossing random people into the other feud. You know? Oh, yeah, we got to build up this feud between Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. Well, it's just sprinkle a little Dragunov in it for seasoning. What? But of all things, I'm tired of Judgment Day. I'm tired of Awesome Truth. The Miz sucks in his role. He cannot find the rhythm at all. It's not like I don't think he's trying at this point. I don't think he's even trying to find the rhythm of R-Truth's theme song at this point. I don't think he cares anymore. If you want to talk about the big angle, you know, Rhea Ripley returning after, you know, several months away, even though it was only like 3 months, there's 2 things that really kind of jump out at you. One, if she's been watching the show, she's seen how Domink has rejected time and time again any opportunities to be in the same room with Liv Morgan, or he has openly came out and said he didn't want anything to do with Liv Morgan again and again and again. If she's been watching the show, which we're assuming that she has been, then she knows that Big Dom been a good boy. He's not out here trying to run around with her ops, that he keeps getting put in these really terrible positions. And that is actually the other members of Judgment Day, namely Finn Balor, who has been feeding into this thing. So that's the big angle. You know, that's, you know, number one. If you watch the show, if you follow the product, you know that Domink has not been playing into the Liv Morgan thing. The second piece of this whole angle isn't just that other members of Judgment Day like Finn Balor has, but what kind of hater is Damian Priest that he knew Rhea Ripley was going to return and he just let it happen and let Domink get embarrassed like this? That's hate. That's, you know, people have been making fun of him for being a cock blocker, but Jesus Christ, this is worse than cock blocking. This is, you know, your boy telling your wife that you're having an affair. You know, this guy is terrible. He's a terrible person. Am I supposed to like Damian Priest now or not like him? Because I don't like him right now for what he did. The third thing is, of course, the non-kayfabe thing that we literally just saw Rhea Ripley get married like a week or so ago, which is fine, but we're supposed to pretend like we didn't see her get married. So I'm wondering, is that going to come up in this story? Probably not. Probably not, because they built this entire angle around Dominic Mysterio being a scumbag, even though he hasn't been a scumbag. He doesn't want to be in these situations. He did not ask for any of this stuff. If they were going to make Dominic Mysterio a scumbag, the better way would have been for him to at least play into it, and at least pretend to that he's not interested. Meanwhile, he is. This situation is all about Liv Morgan trying to seduce him, and we didn't see that it worked. So I actually agree with somebody I saw on Twitter said that she came back too soon, and that if you were going to do it where Rhea Ripley did not watch the show and we're not supposed to know that Rhea is married, then what should have happened is Dominic should have actually started playing into Liv Morgan's games, and then Rhea Ripley returns. Could have did like another week or two. And, she's helped him achieve his dream of beating his dad, which is good. And that's a good start. But I just don't see how Dominic is the bad guy in this situation. But it's going to be entertaining soap opera. So let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.